better. All right. I'm going to give it one more minute and then I'm going right into it. All right. All right. So I'm going to timestamp it when the actual chat starts. And over time, I guess people will come in. And whoever's not able to make it, of course, they know that it's going to be streamed. So I just want to start doing these live feeds where it starts as quickly as possible. So in the meantime, I know people are going to start coming in. I'm just going to get right into it. All right, guys. So welcome to Intuitive Vibes. Erica here. If you are visiting this channel for the very first time, definitely be sure to go through some of my content so you can see what it is that I delve into. And, you know, if you find it to be helpful, definitely subscribe. And for, of course, from all of my returning subscribers, welcome back. So guys, in today's live chat, what I wanted to talk about, a number of things. And I'm pretty much doing like I did last week, where I am, you know, becoming more organized with it. And I am putting everything that I've compiled, everything that I have knowledge of, everything that I've also added in my videos, I've decided to organize it. And, you know, so my ADD doesn't kick in and I'm not going every which way where people are getting confused. Now, my last week's live, we did discuss a lot of different details in regards to relationships with narcissists, in regards to discards, and you know, all of the different dynamics when it comes to narcissists. But we have not obviously spoken about everything, because if we talk about everything when it comes to a narcissist, I would be here all night. So obviously it all has to be broken down into bits and pieces when it comes to informing people. Now, the first thing I want to start off with is the target, the narcissist targeting people. A lot of the time, well, here's the thing. One thing that we got to understand is this. Not everyone that you run across is a narcissist. Not everyone you come across is a sociopath nor a psychopath, which it goes slimmer and slimmer as you go along the spectrum. People can be narcissistic. People can display certain types of behaviors that resemble a narcissist, but it does not necessarily make them a narcissist. So what we got to understand is this. You have to really look at different factors. That's why they say it's important that a licensed medical professional diagnose people of this nature, because they can pinpoint more or less where on the spectrum, if they are on the spectrum, and of course, what type of personality disorder they are dealing with. So I strongly do not advise people to take it amongst themselves to just configure certain things and say, hi, Jay, thank you for coming, sweetheart. I strongly advise people not try to be, you know, therapists and psychologists and psychotherapists and, you know, psychiatrists based on the fact that they have, because you got to remember something, guys. If people do demonstrate these types of behaviors, could they be a narcissist? Absolutely. Are they a narcissist? That is up to a medical professional to diagnose that. And oftentimes what people do, you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, victims are not right. I'm not saying that people are not victims, and I'm not saying that people are making it out to be more than what it is. What I'm saying is we have to be very careful, because in situations where we're in dynamics with people, we can tend to be a bit biased, okay? We can be a bit biased. And if you hear a few, a few signs, a few tactics, automatically people will think, oh, that person must be a narcissist. No. Now, narcissism is very, I mean, listen, on the spectrum, it can be very dangerous if you are dealing with an actual narcissist. One of my videos I did, it was, is it narcissism or something else? Before you sit there and say this person is a narcissist, you have to take a lot of different factors into account. And, because you never know, you might be dealing with someone who has BPD, borderline personality disorder, or you could be dealing with someone who has histrionic personality disorder, or you can be dealing with someone who's a bipolar. So you have to just be very, very careful with it. But back to what I was saying, when it comes to their targets, narcissists are very particular when it comes to the type of people they are targeting. Okay. Now, narcissists target people that are the complete opposite of them. All right. So if you have someone who is completely selfish, needless to say, they're going to look for someone who is completely selfless. They're going to look for someone who is possibly insecure. We all have our insecurities, but of course, if they get a little taste of insecurity within you, that is something that they can grasp onto, and that is something that they will use against you. Okay, now they look for people who will take care of them. They look for people who will clean up their messes. So one thing I've learned when it comes to narcissists, one, they are extremely irresponsible. Narcissists are extremely irresponsible people. Whether it comes to their finances, whether it comes to their day-to-day lives, they're extremely irresponsible. One prime example of an irresponsible narcissist, the somatic narcissist. The somatic narcissist is the one who is what I've always explained to you guys. They're the gold diggers, they're the hustlers, they're considered to be the Jezebels of narcissists. But the somatic narcissists are the type that like to have expensive name brand stuff. They like to walk outside wearing expensive clothing, and because it's all about image for them, okay? One prime example of irresponsibility is a somatic narcissist will go into debt just to fulfill their expensive habits. They have expensive habits. So if you have someone who is a somatic narcissist and they are clearly into the, real expensive name brand purses, clothing, makeup, perfume, you name it, they like to live a life of luxury. They will go into debt to fulfill that. And this is all done to just show the world. This is done to impress everybody that really doesn't give a damn, but it's to impress everybody, and it's to show everybody, well, hey, listen, look at the kind of life I'm living. Look at my lifestyle. I'm taking expensive trips, and I'm going, I'm buying all these expensive purses, and I'm doing all, it's all for show. Okay. And they can be irresponsible in that they would put themselves in severe debt just to fill that habit, just to keep that, to keep that facade going. All right. Another one is, of course, they look to control and dominate. Yeah, they want to control and dominate people. And that's why they look for people that are generous people. They look for people that are codependents. They look for people that are empathic. They look for empaths. They look for people that are willing to, they're people pleasers. So that's the key thing. They look for people that they deem are weak. Okay. So if they see any kind of emotions, I really strongly believe a narcissist would take your emotions. If you're an emotional person, if you're a sensitive person, if you're the kind of person that is just, you're a happy kind of person, or you're just a mellow kind of person, and you just like to be happy, you like to live life. Any sense of emotions, they take that as a weakness. Hi, Alicia. Welcome. Thank you for joining, honey. They take that as a weakness. They take it as, well, you're an emotional person. You're a very sensitive person. You are weak, because I was taught that emotions and empathy and sympathy are signs of weakness. So they were misinformed. Narcissists are misinformed people. These are people that have been taught one thing, but the reality is that though you're a sensitive person, you are an empathetic person, you're a loving and caring person, the reality is you can also get angry too. You can also get pissed off too. The only difference between you and a narcissist is that you are in tune with all of your emotions. You're in tune with every single bit of emotion that you have. A narcissist, on the other hand, is disconnected with certain types of emotions. And they were disconnected because whomever raised them, whomever taught them this, taught them that emotions is weakness. Now, they want people who are nurturing. And, they want your attention consistently. So they want you to make them the king or queen of your world. They want you to be the one to pretty much put them on a pedestal and just be enamored with them, be in awe with them. That's what they want. They want your focus to be on them. And even though we know that narcissists tend to put their focus in other directions, they tend to go outside of the dynamic of your relationship. They tend to go outside of the dynamic of your friendship. And even, with family members, same thing. Okay. It doesn't matter the role, but they want your attention to be focused on them. Now, we discussed this last week when I said that they are notoriously known for being jealous. So if they see that your attention is being diverted somewhere else, if they see that you are there's a possibility that you're threatening their supply by putting your attention elsewhere, they will be pissed off about it. They possibly can go into narcissistic rage. I mean, it's beyond, when it comes to narcissism, it's way beyond the superficial level of it. It's not just about looks and appeal. It's about control. It's about dominance. It's about being able to play with you, toy with you, manipulate you, and do all of the things that they do just to go ahead and skip town, become a rolling stone, and then come back when they want to. And sitting there saying to themselves, I can get this person back if I wanted to. All I have to do is just give them the just bat my eyes, or give them the tears, or give them a sob story, or whatever the case may be. I can always worm my way back into your heart. Because I told you, just what I told you in my recent video, guys, they know they left the scar on you. They know they have left that pain with you. And they know that it took a very long time. Hi, Relax. Welcome, sweetheart. It took a very long time to try to overcome that. And in some cases, listen, let's be realistic. In some cases, a lot of you are still healing from it. A lot of you are still here, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with it. If you're healing from narcissistic abuse and it's taking you time, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You have no time limit, guys, on your healing stages. So whatever you do, don't try to rush it. Don't try to force it. Don't try to push it. Let it happen naturally. And over time, when you can completely get that out of your system, in the end, you're going to feel a lot better about it. And, again, they want generous people in their lives. They want people who are willing to give and give and give. If you notice with narcissists, you're willing to give, and give. And you're kind of sitting there, not to say that you're, expecting anything in return or that you're waiting, but you're kind of like noticing, I'm giving, I'm providing, I'm doing all of this. And you're giving me this little speck. And, granted, in the beginning, yeah, it was kind of cute. Okay, yeah. But, as time goes on in your relationship, you notice that it's just like you're starting to notice that they're taking advantage of you. You're starting to notice that they're taking you for granted because they had really no intention on giving you. And if they do give you, they give it to you based on what you can give them in return, what you're going to give back to them. They're about themselves. Narcissists are about themselves. They're egocentric, they're egotistical, they're very arrogant, they're very selfish, they're very avoidant. They, of course, love dominance, they love control, they love the idea of being able to affect your emotions, being able to disrupt your peace, being able to, make you feel less of yourself because it makes them feel better. God's child, yes, yes, absolutely. There is always a motive. A narcissist always has a motive. A manipulator, Any kind of manipulator, guys, doesn't just have to be a narcissist. Any kind of manipulator, anybody who is willing to utilize manipulation will always have a motive. Manipulation means to basically alter certain dynamics, alter certain things to have an outcome in your favor. It's basically utilizing lies, deceit, dishonesty, pain, hurt, whatever it is that it involves. It's utilizing that to get an outcome in your favor. Instead of letting things flow naturally, instead of letting things happen naturally, that is pretty much what it is. It's to just control you. That's what their end game is to be able to control you and to be able to sit there and say, I have the power to control this person, because no matter what I do, no matter how many times I cheated on this person, no matter how many times I've talked crap about this person, no matter how many times I have screwed this person over, they have consistently allowed me back in. They have consistently hurt me. I mean, no, I'm thinking I'm speaking from the side of the victim. I have consistently hurted them, and yet they still let me in. All I have to do is say, well, you know what? Let's be friends. All right, we don't have to be together, but let's be friends then, because they want you in their life regardless. A narcissist wants you around regardless, whether it is good or bad. They want you around, okay? Any kind of attention that a narcissist gets, whether it's good attention, whether it's drama, whatever the case may be, attention is attention for them. That's all it is. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as they are getting the attention and they are manipulating everyone in the dynamic, so that way when everything's said and done, they go unscathed, and everybody else involved in that whole dramatic scenario, they get hurt. Things are said, people are just, everybody's pretty much going against each other, and the narcissist is the one who makes it out of the wreckage with no bruises, no cuts, nothing. In fact, what do? Instead of feeling guilty about it, instead of feeling remorse about the destruction they have caused, they actually take it up a notch. They take it up a notch, and they see that everybody here that's involved in this wreckage has put all their attention and put everything in there to, because, everybody's either fighting for the narcissist or fighting with each other because of the narcissist, or whatever the case may be. They take it up a notch by exploiting these people, okay? They exploit them. So not only did they use you, abuse you, lie to you, cheat on you, do all of these things to you, not only did they hurt you, not only did they stomp you while you were down on the ground, but now they exploit you. They exploit you. And the crazy part about it is, because a lot of people, absolutely, smear campaign, and yes, Alicia, yes, they leave the bodies in their path. When you come across for example, a female narcissist, guys, I push a lot of focus on female narcissism because, first of all, female narcissists are more known to be covert narcissists, okay? You have a lot of covert female narcissists. When narcissism deals with men, the statistics, now this is the statistics. They're saying that statistically, males are more at high risk of having narcissistic personality disorder than females. But that's because a lot of males they're more overt. They're more like, it's just kind of like you can tell, because if you look at, throughout time, you had a lot of these male players. I mean, what were the men's known to be? No offense to you guys. I'm not, knocking you guys, but let's face reality on something here, okay? Society has always put men to be the dogs, men are dogs, men are dogs, men are dogs. And that's only because, not all men, but there are a few dogs out there. That's because they've managed to demonstrate who they are and don't give a shit about it. They're not being covert. Yeah, I'm a dog. What do you want me to tell you? Yeah, I'm a player. What do you want me to tell you? Women, on the other hand, it's that double standard. Women can't be like that because they're considered to be whores. They're considered to be the Jezebels of the community, or whatever the case may be. When it comes to narcissism, female narcissism, number one, in my honest opinion, and I mean, it could be, You know, listen, I have to look more further into the studies, but how can you, if you can't detect a covert narcissist, how can you tell someone is a covert narcissist? So how can you really say that the statistics are showing that men are more narcissistic than women if most women are coverts? Being covert means being undetectable, okay? And female narcissists, any covert narcissist at that, can get away with that because you have narcissists that can get away with so much shit, even if they go to a therapist, if they go to a psychotherapist, if they go to a psychiatrist. They have ways of manipulating highly trained professionals, highly trained doctors, you know? So in looking at everything, when it boils down to it, honestly, I mean, again, I can't just go by statistics. I need to go by reality. Reality is, when it comes to covert narcissism, when it comes to, you know, female narcissists, they are, I truly strongly believe that there are more female narcissists than there are men. I strongly believe that. I believe that these females just, they play it off so well. They play it off so well. And unfortunately, I know a lot of you guys and some of you girls, depending on what your preferences, have dealt with these types of females. And the issue of it is that female narcissists create more damage and cause more havoc than male narcissists. Okay, don't get me wrong. The males, the guys, they cause damage. They do. But females run with those narratives. I tell you guys, keep that in mind. They run with the narratives. They run with the, oh, I'm a woman. I'm the sensitive one. I'm the weaker sex. That's what you guys believe. So I'm just going to run with that. I'm going to roll with that. But to their victim, totally different story, guys. Totally different story. Now, we understand what their targets are. We understand what it is they're looking for. So they're looking for people that are willing to fulfill, supply, give, provide. You know, they're looking to take. They look for people that are willing to give. And of course, how do they get these things? How are they able to get these things? How do they manage to do these things? How do they manage to even keep a relationship with people so long? Okay, well, first and foremost, we are familiar with love bombing. Okay, narcissists are known to love bomb. Love bombing is pretty much putting you on that pedestal, putting you on a very high pedestal. Now, keep in mind, guys, because we roll with different narcissists, not every narcissist is going to do this. So you got to keep that in mind. Just because, you know, if a narcissist never love bombed you in the beginning, does not mean that they're not a narcissist, and vice versa. Doesn't mean that they are. But love bombing is pretty much where they make you feel good. They make you feel, it feels like it's too good to be true. All right. You feel like you're on cloud nine. You got butterflies in your stomach and you just you don't even bother to look at anything else in the world. You're just so enamored and focused on what is in front of you, which is the narcissist. They do this to pretty much fill your head up. Sorry about that, guys. They do this to pretty much fill your head up. They do this to give you the impression that, one, they're interested. Two, that they have to, this is pretty much them setting the foundation. Love bombing is setting the foundation. It's pretty much, I have an agenda, but obviously I'm not going to be forthcoming with you and telling you what my agenda is. So I have to set the foundation. I have to love bomb you. I have to make you feel like you mean so much to me. I have to make you feel like you are one of the best persons in the world that I've ever met, that I've never experienced. I've never experienced anything like this with anyone. I have to do all of these things. And as they're love bombing you, they're filling your head up with things. They're filling your head up with stories of their past. They may talk about their exes. They may say, you know, things like, my ex did X, Y, and Z to me. They can be very forthcoming. You think that they're being forthcoming with that information when it boils down to their exes and their history and their past. Reality of it is, majority of the time, they're downplaying their ex because, you know, who knows? If their ex was a victim, of course, If that victim decided not to either deal with the narcissist anymore, or if they decided, you know, the narcissist decided that that ex is no longer feasible for them, or just no longer giving them a rise, or, you know, then what they're going to do is, in the beginning stage of the love bombing stage, they're going to tell you certain things about their past relationships because they need you to feel sympathy for them. They need you to feel, they need you to be on their side. So they need you to be against the ex, but they need you to feel sorry for them, because what's the first thing you're going to do if you're dating someone and they're telling you, oh, my ex, you know, slept around on me. My ex did this, my ex did that. And they treated me like garbage. They didn't respect me. And, you know, they're giving you this whole song and dance, and you're already in the love bombing stage. So you're already enamored with this person. Of course, you're going to believe them. Of course, you're going to sit there and be like, how could they treat someone like you like this? I mean, I can't understand that. How could someone... That's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to side with them. They're looking for you to be with them when it comes down to, because in case the ex decides, I'm trying to tell you what's going on, but of course, you already given the information in regards to the narcissist, in regards to the ex, you already given that information. So naturally, what are you going to do? You're going to believe the narcissist. You're going to believe what the narcissist has to say about it, because, you know, the ex, if the ex is trying to give you information, if the ex is trying to tell you something, I mean, listen, you can sit there and be, and we've all been guilty of it too, because you can sit there and be the new girlfriend or the new boyfriend, and they're like, oh, you know, that person's just jealous that we're together and I'm going to treat this person better. And you're just mad because he doesn't want to be with you. She doesn't want to be with you. And, you know, we're going to have our life together. Get over it. That's your take on it. When the reality of it is that they're doing to you the same thing they did with the ex with someone else, and so forth and so on. Yes, they are, Alicia. They are professional victims. They always play the victim. They'll always play the victim. So no matter what, whether you're right or wrong in a situation, they will always be the victim. If you're right in a situation, they're going to turn everything around to where they are made to look like the victim. And if you're wrong in a situation, well, they're just going to play the victim. That's just pretty much how they are. Now, another thing is they demonstrate generosity. And I do this in quotation marks. By buying you gifts, by buying you expensive gifts or buying you certain types of gifts. Now, this form of generosity, it does come with a price. Okay? They may not ask for you, you know, they may not ask for something right then and there. They may wait before they manage to throw it in your face, you know, that they got you something or they did something for you, even if you're looking at it like, oh, this is a really generous move, or this is a really considerate move, or, you know, no. They do this because they want something in return. It may not be right then and there. And depending on how big the grand gesture, how big the grand gesture is, at some point you will have to pay for that. Can't say when, because with a narcissist, it's like they're racking up points. As they do all of this, they're racking up points. So if they do something where it seems generous, we know that narcissists are not very generous people. So if they're doing something for you, it's because they want something in return. And when they want it, you better be ready to cough it up. Now, the next one is they withhold emotions, intimacy, and affection as a form of control. Now, if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, you notice how the beginning, which is common with most relationships in the beginning, it's very, you know, heated, it's very intimate, it's very romantic, it's very, what, you know, it's just, you're on cloud nine. Over time, they, you know, may withhold intimacy, they may withhold sex, they may withhold emotions, they may grow cold sometimes, they may, you know, be hot and cold. So like they're hot one minute and then they're cold the next, and you're just like, you're trying to keep up with it, you can't keep up with it. They do this to erode your self-esteem. This is their way of managing your self-esteem. It's crazy. This is their way of kind of like sitting on the horse, and, you know, when they sit on the horse, this is their way of controlling your self-esteem. Because if ever you feel in a relationship with a narcissist, if you feel confident, if you feel, you know, if you have self-love, these types of people want people that do not have self-love. Okay? They want people who do not have self-love, because people who do not have self-love would normally rely on other people, and they need you to rely on them. They need you to be dependent on them. They need you to pretty much, because in order to control you, they need you to basically bow down to them. So in this case, during the relationship, when they know that you're an affectionate person, they know that you are you may be a public display of affection kind of person, or you may be an intimate kind of person. You love intimacy, you love being that closeness, you love, having, they may withhold that from you. They can withhold it from you. Oftentimes people in relationships think, well, this person's not sleeping with me, they're sleeping with someone else. Could it be true? Yeah, it could be. But in most cases with a narcissist, that's not always the case. It can be, guys, but it's not always the case. They do this to control your self-esteem, because if they think that in their mind, or even if they see it, because if you're a confident person and they see that you're sitting in your confidence, and you're sitting with grace, and you're sitting, fully aware of yourself, loving yourself, no issues with yourself, that's a threat to them too. It's a threat to them, because if they know that you have confidence, and there's that possibility of you seeing through their bullshit, they need you to not have confidence. They need your self-esteem to be low, because your confidence, your self-love will determine what you do and do not deserve. Okay? So if you have low self-esteem and you're dealing with all of this, of course, you're going to sit there like, where am I going to go? I don't have self-esteem. I don't have self-love. Whatever little breadcrumbs you do give me, it's all I have right now. And what am I supposed to do with myself? This is why they like to dominate. This is why they like people that they deem as weak, because they can twiddle with your emotions, and they can twiddle with your self-esteem and not give a damn about it, guys. They don't care about it either. They don't care. Honestly, they don't care about you. They don't. And it's harsh. I know it's harsh to hear it, and it's harsh to say it, but this is more so for people who continuously go back to these types of people. Okay, if you learn your lesson the first time, great. But these are people, people who continuously go into the same cycles with people. They do not care about you. They don't care about themselves. They do not care about you. And while you're sitting there wondering, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to make them love me more? Maybe if I love them more, maybe if I love them harder, maybe if I put in more time, maybe if I give them more affection, maybe, no, no, it doesn't work that way. Because no matter how much time you give them, affection, emotions, I mean, they're siphons. So the more you give, it's just, listen, it's coming in this way and it's coming right out their ass. That's all it's doing. That's all it's doing. It's coming in and it's going right back out. They're not sustaining your emotions. They're not sustaining your feelings. They're not sustaining anything that you've ever done or contributed to your dynamic. They are bottomless pits. Yes. Yes, they are, Alicia. They're because they've been raised to be that way. They've been raised to think that way. They have been, and listen, I'm one, like I always tell you guys, I don't side with narcissists. I don't side with manipulators. I don't side with, with anybody on that side of the spectrum. But what's sad is that they have severe identity crisis because their identity was completely stripped of them. Okay? When you're dealing with a narcissist, you know who you're dealing with? You're dealing with either their mother or their father. That's who you're dealing with. You're dealing with their mother or their father or whoever their caretaker was. That's who you are dealing with. You're not dealing with the actual person. So if John Doe was your boyfriend and you think you're dealing with John Doe, you're not dealing with John Doe. You're dealing with John Doe's narcissistic father or his narcissistic mother. That's who you're dealing with. So in actuality, dealing with a narcissist, you're not dealing with a human being. You're dealing with a demon. You're dealing with demons itself. That's what you're dealing with, because that was so embedded and so ingrained in their mind. They became, like I said before, they became complacent and they stick with that. They stayed with that. And again, when you're dealing with certain types of narcissists, because, malignant narcissists are dangerous. Those are the real toxic ones. Those are the ones that are borderline sociopaths. They are like the sadists. They're the types that they're dark. You could just feel the energy. That's how dark they are. And then you have the lesser line, which is the somatic, the classic, and the cerebral narcissist, which are the ones that are just more about image, more about self-absorption, having, everybody have their attention on them. So this also really depends on what type of narcissist you are dealing with. But the bottom line is that you're not dealing with the person themselves. You're not dealing with Jane Doe, you're dealing with Mama Doe, because narcissist parents, they basically create their children to be extensions of themselves. Okay? So whatever it is that your narcissist has learned, or whatever it is they've applied to you, it's because, one, they learned it from whoever their caregiver is that represents the narcissism, and two, they've pretty much internalized all of it and they identify with that person. So keep that in mind, guys, when you start seeing red flags and you start seeing things, and if you are dealing with people and you're not sure if they are narcissistic, everything you learned about narcissism, you need to pay attention to their parents. Pay attention to the relationship they have with their parents, which brings me to my next category, which are the narc parents. The narc parents, one of the things we got to understand, which not all parents do this, but you do have parents who do this. The narc parents tend to abandon their children. Okay? They would abandon their children. A lot of them abandon their children because they feel that having a child, what do we learn about narcissists? They're irresponsible. Okay? And obviously taking care of a child is a lot of responsibility. And you do have parents, narcissistic parents, narc parents, that would consider leaving their children because it's just too much for them to take care of. And not only that, but it takes away from their the quote unquote uniqueness. It takes away from, from who their personality is. All right, Jade says, why do children raised by narcissists become empathic instead of narcissistic? Children, well, remember what I told you guys before. A narcissist is going to create two different types of children, okay? The codependents and the narcissist. The person, the child that is more empathic is the child, because see, we choose whether or not we want to be like this or we don't. Okay? I honestly, Jay, this is my honest opinion. Okay? This is just my opinion. I strongly believe that people that are more strong-minded, even though they internalize the abuse, they know right from wrong. And because of the fact that they're strong-minded, they know that, wait a minute, how you're treating me is wrong. How you're doing this is wrong. And I can't, codependent people are the type of people that they can't see themselves, or even empathic people, empaths. They cannot see themselves projecting that kind of behavior onto other people. Okay? You actually have very selfless people. Okay? Now, chances are, and I'm going to make this abundantly clear, especially if you have siblings, chances are, if you are the more empathic one, if you are the more, where you just like kind of took in the beatings, you were the scapegoat. Your narcissist sibling was the golden child. Okay? And the reason I say that is because the narcissist, but don't get me wrong, because the golden child is made with punishment and reward behavior. So if the golden child was compliant with the narcissist parent, they would get rewarded. They would get put on the pedestal. But if they were non-compliant with the narcissist parent, they would get punishment. They would get, the backlashing. But if the golden child was consistently compliant with the parent, they are the ones who will identify more with the abuser because, you know, they look at it this way. I I notice I get lashings if I don't do X, Y, and Z. But my parent, my mom or my dad shows me they love me if obviously if they're giving supply, but they don't take it as giving supply. They look at it as if I do something that satisfies my parents. So I'm going to try to stay on this end. I'm going to try to stay on the compliance side. And you know, with that, what do we learn about scapegoats? Scapegoats are the ones that just get all the negative projection. They get all the lashings, they get all the beatings, they get all the, you know, it's you. My life is shitty because of you. I'm not a success because of you. You know, I would have a better relationship, but I can't because of you, and blah, 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 and all that stuff. They project all the negative shit, even if it's their fault, the parent's fault. If the parent is like, you know, they have a crappy life, they're going to project that onto the scapegoat. They're going to project it onto the child. And the scapegoat, I mean, listen, can a scapegoat become a narcissist? Yes, they can. But I believe that empathy is just something that strong-minded people stick with. Weak-minded people fall for the bullshit. Okay? So if you're a strong-minded person and you've been abused by a narcissist, you've been abused physically, emotionally, mentally, you have been abused, but you've managed to still continue to have your empathy and just say, I am not going to put this on other people. I know what that pain feels like. You're a strong-minded individual. A narcissist is a weak-minded individual because it's like, for me, a narcissist can't think for themselves. They can't think for themselves. So what do? They just take everything that the parents did to them, everything that they learned growing up. Narcissists know right from wrong. But at the end of the day, I mean, listen, you got some people who are inherently evil. You have people that are like that. You have people that are just so weak-minded and see that, even though I got to do malicious shit, I'm getting what I want. So what's the problem? And I don't have to give too much to get it. You have people that are like that. You have people that do not believe in giving, compromise. They don't believe in doing right by other people. They just believe in doing what is beneficial for them. And it's when I was talking to you guys last week and I said it's amazing how a narcissist can have a codependent child. It is a choice. They can, have a codependent child and have a narcissist child, be raised by the same parent and yet be total opposite because one is weak, one is actually strong. And you know what? A lot of scapegoats turn black sheep. A lot of scapegoats turn, and if you're not familiar, guys, with the term black sheep, the black sheep is pretty much the one who just says, fuck this, I'm out. And I don't care what any of you have to say. I'm not dealing with any of this nonsense. The black sheep is the one who refuses to comply with the bullshit, who refuses to run with the narrative of the narcissist family, the manipulative family. They refuse to be involved with any of it. And if you're not sure where you stand along those lines, look at it this way. If you have family talking about another family member that wants absolutely nothing to do with your family, that's the black sheep. Because if your family, if you notice there are dynamics in your family that are just not right, and you're just like, yo, this shit really doesn't make sense. If you notice there are certain people avoiding certain people in your immediate family, you have to pay attention to that. Because the black sheep is the one that is saying, it's pretty much the one who's like, which one did I use the term, the guy V from Vendetta? He's the one who believes in fairness. He believes in justice. He believes in, equality. None of this fucking tyranny bullshit where, you got a tyrant and then a bunch of servants and everybody has to pretty much, comply. It's like a dictatorship. And a family with a narcissist is like a dictatorship. It's either you do as I say, shit goes my way, or you're going to be not only, either stoned to death. I mean, not in literal terms, but they'll cast stones at you, or they will really, a narcissist parent will really destroy or try to destroy, their kid if their kid decides to go against them, if they decide to say, no, screw you, and then listen, parent or not, you know, I understand, yeah, we gotta love our, we gotta love our parents, and we gotta honor our parents, and our parents have done so much for us. But if you have a narcissist parent and you know for a fact that your parent is a narcissist, they were only doing what they did because they didn't want other people looking at them like, how could you be like that with your kid? How can, they didn't want, they feared judgment. They feared criticism. Okay. And it's sad to say it that way, especially for people who have parents that are narcissists. It's very sad to say it that way, but that's the truth. The truth of it is that they only did what they did because they had someone to control. Parents can control their kids, okay? They can control their kids because they look down at their kids and they say, who's going to believe you? I'm the one who owns you. They don't, as a kid, a narcissist with their kid, that's not their child. That's their property. Just like a narcissist in your relationship looks at you like property, a narcissist with their kid, they look at them like property too. And how a narcissist parent would treat their kids is, you either do right by me, do as I say, do it how I want it done, or I'm going to make your life a living hell, because children they're innocent. And the thing of it is that they have, they don't know where else to go. Oh, yes. Alicia brought up a very good point. She says, yep, public successes and private failures, and they're okay with it. Yes. Yes. If you notice how, and let me tell you something. Parents, if you genuinely love your kids, I love my son. I love my son with all my heart. Okay. And if anyone was to understand, to sit down with me, I can give you the story on how much sacrifice I've had to make throughout my life. But this was all for the sake of my son, to make sure my son is safe, to make sure he's healthy and he's good. That's what my life consisted of. And yet I've even been asked before, well, I see a lot of photos, like, be it if it's on my Instagram or wherever, I see a lot of photos of you, but, I don't really see, someone once said, I don't even see that many of your son. And I'm like, well, I don't need to expose my dealings, my doings, and my successes with my son, because I don't care what other people think. Like, people, you have people who say, oh, well, they put up selfies with themselves, but they don't put up enough pictures with their kids. Reality is you got to be careful with those, because the parents, you have narcissistic parents that have their children, and at home, there's no emotional connection, no bonding. There's no real emotional connect. But yet, when it boils down to it, if they need to show the world that they're the world's greatest mother or the world's greatest father, what do? They take 1,000,001 pictures with their kids. And a lot of the time, you look at, you'll see like certain people when they put up certain posts, like, oh, this is my daughter, this and that. I mean, I'm not saying that, everybody is like that, because at the end of the day, just because someone puts up a lot of pictures of, them with their kids doesn't make them a narcissist. But at the end of the day, you do have people that are emotionally draining their kids at home, because the kids, listen, they don't know how to connect. They don't know how to connect. They can't connect in relationships. They can't connect with their kids because they don't know how to. And they are one way at home with their kids. They're distant. Again, they're not really bonding with their children, but they have no issues showing the world, well, look at me and my kid. We're going here. We're doing this. We're going there. And it's constantly like, you constantly see just them putting up all types. And, like, I know you have people that are proud of their kids, and I'm not saying that, there's anything wrong with it, because it's not. But when I see people sometimes doing that, it's kind of like, and I don't know if it's just me, guys, but it's kind of like, I think to myself, it just kind of looks like you're trying too hard. And maybe, that's to a more keen eye, as opposed to other people who are not familiar with it, where they'll, they may just kind of get kind of get annoyed with it. Like, oh, you know, you're constantly posting up pictures with you and your kids and blah, 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 you know, but it's just, I don't knock people for putting up pictures with their kids. I don't knock people for, you know, expressing their children's success. I don't knock any of that. But what I look for, and that's how I'm able to determine certain people. I don't even look at, you know, you're a good parent. Yeah, you got your kids, because you know what? A good parent leads by example. And if you are not one who leads by example, that's a red flag for me. And by that, I mean, you could sit there and pose as mommy of the year, daddy of the year, best friend of the year, sister of the year, cousin of the year. But if you are the type of person that treats people like shit, and I peep that, that's a red flag for me. That is a red flag for me. Because if you're sitting here doing one thing, it's like we said before, they're contradictions. They do one thing, but yet they shame people. They do all kinds of stupid things. And again, to the untrained eye, a lot of you guys wouldn't notice that. A lot of you guys would not notice that. I've noticed that with a lot of people. I've noticed that like online. I've noticed a lot of covert bullies. I've noticed how people, you know, do certain things, and, you know, when they do subliminals and things like that. And it's like, you're not leading by example. You're not. You're just basically, you're doing one thing, and then it just flips from that to another. And all of a sudden it's, you know, you're not, again, guys, I don't knock people. I don't knock them. I really don't. But narcissist parents will, they're posers. That's really what they are. They're posers. Okay? The parents that are more, what's the term for it? The parents that are more like looking to be their kids' friends. They're more, you know, which is fine to be your kids' friends, but at the end of the day, you got to be a parent first. You always got to be a parent first. But I think that a lot of parents who are looking to be their kids' friends are doing that because they can't really connect with them parent to child on an emotional level. So they figure, well, I have to try to show the world something. I got to try to show the world that we have some kind of connection going on. So I have to go this route. Exactly. We do not knock people. Peaceful says we do not knock people, we knock behavior. And that's when you're, you know, being a parent, you gotta, your kids look up to you. Your kids are watching you. Your kids are, you know, yeah, your kids are watching everything that you do. They're listening to everything that you say. They are, you know, they pay very close attention to you. Narcissist parents are, they're just more like, you know, you're just going to be like me. When I did my video on the daughters of narcissist mothers, that's pretty much what it boiled down to, where the mother looks at the daughter as an extension, you know, so she doesn't connect with her emotionally, but she needs to appear to be normal to everybody else in the outside world. So what does she do? She basically shows the world one side of a fictional, because that's fiction, a narcissist mother doing all of this with her daughter, this and posing it out there. That's fiction. The reality is that while they're home, she's disconnected. She is completely disconnected from her child. She has no interest in her child's emotions. She has no interest in the things that her child is doing, and that's in that sense of, you know, successes, unless it's going to benefit her. Unless it's going to benefit her in some way, shape, or form, she has no interest. And if the child is doing things for themselves that takes away from the narcissist mother, that takes away from her supply and takes away from whatever agenda it is she has, she can go as far as trying to destroy her own daughter. She can go as far as trying to destroy her life, trying to, you know, because when you have a narcissist parent, especially if you're, you know, they have an only child, they can, you know, they'll really push that they are the child's responsibility. I took care of you. I did all of these things for you. I, you know, sacrificed my life for you. Now it's your turn to sacrifice your life for me. And it's sad that people think that way. We don't take care of our children, for them to take care of us. We take care of our children to teach them how to take care of themselves. So when they're out on their own, they can do, because the bottom line is you can't force your child to take care of you. Your child has to want to take care of you. However, if you're teaching by example, you're leading by example, your child is going to want to take care of you because you naturally took care of your child and you didn't expect anything in return. Yes, so true. She will only connect with the child and be super involved if she can see a way for a benefit from her daughter's success. Yep. She'll also try to take away her daughter's friends. Yes. Yes. She'll basically try to seclude, like she'll try to keep the daughter, because a narcissist mother does not, especially again if she has an only child. If she has several children, she's got a few kids to play around with. She has a few kids to play around with, and she can rotate the roles as many times as she wants. But if she has, let's say, an only child, she will put that on her child, and she will try to, because narcissist mothers don't believe in autonomy. They are, you take care of me, you take care of me. Which is what we were talking about, extremely controlling. They're the my way or the highway mothers. So these are the type of mothers that will say, you know what, like say if you're old enough to, I don't know, like if you're, a daughter, you're old enough to wear makeup, or if you're a guy and you're old enough to start dating, these types of mothers will be like, well, since you're old enough to do these things, then you're old enough to start paying bills in this house. And you're old enough to start taking care of stuff in this house. So yeah, you gotta also look at the different ways. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got parents who say, well, this is my house. I pay the bills. I pay the rent, which is true. They do. They work hard. They do their thing. But at the end of the day, a secure parent, a securely attached parent will be kind of compromising with you, where they don't want to see you unhappy, but at the same time, they want to meet you halfway. A narcissist parent does not. Narcissist parent is, it's my way or the highway, and that's it. I don't want to hear anything more about it. Now, here's the interesting thing about it. If you're dealing with a narcissist parent who is ill, or grandparent who is ill, okay? If they're sick, if they're, they have some kind of illness or whatever the case may be, I've learned that these types of parents that are sick, narcissistic parents that are sick, will self-harm. They will self-harm themselves just to keep the attention, just to keep, especially if they rely on someone to be their caretaker. So if you're like, for example, your mom or your dad is gravely ill and they're supposed to take medication, they're supposed to take, they have a schedule that they're supposed to take their medication, and they decide, well, I'm not taking my medication, I'm not doing anything, I'm not, and they end up in the hospital, whatever the case may be. They do this on purpose. They do this on purpose because they want people to take care of them. They want you to take, so if your parents are narc, they want you to take care of them. They want you to be at their beck and call. Okay? If you financially support your narcissist parent, okay? That's another thing. They are they're extremely irresponsible. Okay? Narcissists, what did I say earlier in the video? They're extremely irresponsible. So if, for example, narcissist parents do this, if you're familiar with this, they will put bills in their children's names. They will put bills in their kids' names. And that's, of course, to evade any kind of responsibility. So if they put the bill in your name and, even though they say, well, I'm going to pay it, whatever the case may be, they put the bill in your name. If they can't pay it, whose name is that bill under? It's under yours. So regardless, you're obligated to take care of that. Okay? They will, what is the I remember saying it in one of my videos, when it boils down, also, for example, if you're taking care of your narcissist parent and let's say they're not employed, naturally you are obligated to support them. You're obligated to take care of them. You're obligated to fulfill whatever habits they have. You're obligated to take care of any kind of, narcissist parents They have this distorted, idealized way of living where they're basically like, well, I deserve the best, I want the best, I should have the best, and I'm willing to do anything that I have to do to get the best, even if it means taking it from you, even if it means taking it, taking it out of your pockets. Listen, guys, narcissists, like I said, they don't care who they hurt. And if they don't care hurting their kids, trust me, they will steal from you. Narcissists will steal from you. They will basically cross so many boundaries. And because they're your parent, they look at it as, well, I'm the parent. What are you going to do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. People, and mind you, if you're dealing with a narcissist parent, your family already knows. Your family already knows. Your family has already been briefed, debriefed, you name it, everybody already knows. Because before a narcissist ever does anything, the one thing they're going to do, they're grooming everybody else. So they're pretty much preparing everyone else. So Just Say No to Narc says, you're spot on. They're hard to deal with right up to death. They will purposely not leave a will to make it hard to recover their assets and leaving the yep. Yes. Even if they drain your pockets. Narcissist parents, you know what they're also known to do? They're also known to, let's say you have they open a bank account up in your name, and you have money in that account and you're putting money into that account. They feel so entitled that they will take money out of your account, not tell you about it, but they'll take money out of your account. So when you approach them and say, where did this money go? I mean, when was this money taken out? Why was this money taken out? They don't even feel like they owe you an explanation. They don't owe you anything. You owe them your life. A narcissist parent, you owe them your life. You owe them your life. You owe, and it's like this. They look at it like this. I didn't have to have you, which is true. They didn't have to have you, but I chose to have you. And since I chose to have you, you're my little servant. You're my little minion. You're the one who has to do what I tell you to do. And again, because parents, they run with that narrative too, guys. They run with that, you're not going to disrespect your mother. You're not going to disrespect your father. You're not going to say anything, and you're going to eat it and eat it and eat it and eat it. And then when the time comes that I'm off the face of this earth, doesn't even matter because I took everything I needed from you and that was it. Listen, narcissistic parents, I strongly believe they just, as soon as a child is born, they already have it incepted in their mind what purpose that child has for them. They have it incepted in their mind what that child's particular purpose is. And unfortunately, they're raising their children to be extensions of themselves. I mean, listen, a lot of you are victims of narcissistic abuse, especially when it came to your parents. A lot of you are, but you're here today and you're actually flipping things around. So you obviously did not allow that to consume you so much to the point that you became an abuser yourself. So I give you guys kudos for that, because you have so many people walking the face of this earth. And it's like, if we can obliterate them, listen, I would, but I can't call it on that one. That one's up to God. Now, the next one is they have high demands on their kids. Okay. And they make inopportune demands, expecting unwavering loyalty from their children. So no matter how much they abuse you, no matter how much they've lied to you, no matter how much they've gaslit you, because, narcissist parents, they gaslight. That's their number one tool. They expect for you to be continuously loyal to them. They want you to be loyal to them. Okay, listen, let's say you caught them in their bullshit and you're like, no, forget this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm done. A narcissist parent is no different than any other parent. They will try to hoover you back in too. They will try to hoover you. If you cut off your narc parent, they'll try to hoover you back in. They'll send you some sob story like, oh, I'm in the hospital somewhere, because they'll never apologize. Okay, guys, one thing you'll never get is an apology. You'll never get an apology from a narc parent. They'll just try to like go around it, but they will try to hoover you back in. Yeah, just say no to narcs. You know what? I mean, listen, sometimes they teach us something about ourselves, because especially if you decide you don't want to be like your parents, if you don't want to be like them, and I think that's part of why they do what they do, is because they look at you like you're a rebellious person, because you're choosing to have a mind of your own rather than flowing with the narrative of their nonsense. So of course they're going to look at you like, you're not trying to be like me, you're not trying to act like me, you're not trying to do these things, you're rebelling against me, you're my enemy. That's how a parent could look at their own child. But they do have high demands of their children. Narc fathers are known to expect their children to, well, first and foremost, narc fathers give the impression to their children that they're highly successful, that they are highly admired, that they are, they're just the bee's knees of, of the neighborhood. And because their children look up to them, because their children, admire them, because they've given that facade that that's what they're about, children feel that pressure. They feel that pressure like, okay, I want to be like my dad. I want to be like him because everybody admires him. Everybody, flocks to him. Everybody, when they fail to understand that everything that is going on with your dad was all set up. That was all set up. But the high demands that parents have with their children, they basically, they want them to follow in their footsteps. They want them, it's like, I want you to cater to me and I want you to follow in my footsteps. Oh, okay. Just say no to narcs. They will hoover you. I was cussed out recently and then taken out to shop just to avoid an apology. Oh, yeah. When the parents, they don't apologize. It's like, they don't feel they need to apologize because they look at you like you're like, you're my kid. You're my kid. Why should I apologize to you? I gave you life. So why should I apologize to you? So to avoid apologizing, what are they going to do? They're going to set up other stuff. They'll I mean, I'm not like, I guess when what is it? When we I've seen memes about this too, when they say, oh, when your parent doesn't want to apologize, what's their way of apologizing to you when your parent has, like upset you or did something that was wrong towards you or has slighted you. And most people will be like, oh, well, they don't want to apologize. So they'll just come into the room and be like, your dinner's on the table. Like, you just finished yelling at me and just finished, hurting my feelings like 10 minutes ago. Now all of a sudden you're coming here like, oh, your food's on the table. Like, really? Can you just put your pride aside for a second? Can you put the arrogance aside for a second and apologize to me? They won't do it. They won't do it because that means that, in their eyes, that means that they're weak. Why should I apologize to you? I'm the parent, you're the child. Doesn't matter who's who. We're both human beings. And at the end of the day, wrong is wrong, and you should apologize for being wrong. But they don't look at it that way. Because if you're expecting an apology from a narcissist, good luck with that one. Because either you won't get one, or if you do get one, chances are it's not sincere. It's a fake apology, and it's because they want something. They come back apologizing to you, it's because they want something. They whatever it is they want, that's the only way they're willing to do it. But a narcissist genuinely apologizing and genuinely being sorry and remorseful, never. Never. They feel shame. They don't feel guilt. They never feel guilt for what they do. And so, yeah, when it boils down to hoovering, I mean, basically, it's, if you've been hoovered by a narcissist, whether it be your parent, whether it be your lover, whether it be a friend, what's the common thing? Love bombing. That's the first thing, so they'll pretty much, it's like when you first met. It's like when you first met. And be careful with that, guys, because, when it comes to love bombing and like when it comes to the hoovering tactics, this is where it can get very triggering. It could be extremely, extremely triggering. So be very, very careful, especially when they try to, you know, bring up the good old times, the good old days. Remember when we used to do this, and remember when we used to do that, and remember, you know, be careful, because as much as you've been spending your time trying to get over it, trust and believe. It just, even if you thought about the good times can trigger a feeling, or it can trigger a memory of a bad time. And we're trying to avoid that. We're really trying to avoid that. But when it comes to the hoovering, they will try to they'll try to win you over. They will try to win you over, especially in relationships. They, you know, may like buy you gifts. They might, you know, buy you flowers. They may, I don't know, buy you tickets to your favorite concert, and say, listen, you know, I remember this group was your favorite band and they're in town, so I got 2 tickets. Excuse me. You know, they'll ask friends or family members to contact you. Okay, so they may use third parties, especially if you got no contact with a narc, especially if you got no contact with them and you have managed to completely disengage from them. They may use a third party to reach out to you, and try to gain sympathy. So like if, for example, something happened, if they're in a hospital, whatever the case may be, they may use a family member or a friend to contact you to tell you, you know, to let you know they're in the hospital, they're really sick, they really wanted to talk to you. What happens when you hear something like that? Of course, sympathy. Your sympathy starts to creep in, because you're like, oh, damn, what happened? Now listen, déjalo. That's what I say. Because you know what? At the end of the day, if you're gravely sick and you're gravely ill, then you can gravely go to your supply that you shitted on me for. You can gravely go to whoever it is that you decided to, you know, manipulate me for. Go to them. I don't mean to be a callous person, but at the end of the day, sometimes you have to be callous and you have to give them a dosage of their own medicine. Yeah, they will buy you anything you want as long as you don't mention their behavior. Yep. Oh, because if you do, what happens? You stuck on that. You still stuck on that? I mean, come on, that happened 5 years ago, you know? I mean, times have changed. Why are we bringing up, oh, no, that's the, what is that? That's the famous line. Why you always got to bring up old shit? Why do you got to bring up old shit? Why do you have to bring up old stuff? Gaslighting, yes. Gaslighting, yes. Gaslighting is more, and I've noticed that gaslighting is more common when obviously when they're doing stuff that they, you know, they don't want you to know what they're doing, but obviously they need to evade and they need to elude. And yeah, they'll definitely, they'll push some gaslighting in there, because again, just like she says, they don't want you to remember. They don't want you to remember what happened. And if you're anything like me, we pulling this big motherfucking elephant in the room, okay? You want to come and talk to me? Eric, I want to talk to you. Oh, you want to talk to me? No problem. I'm bringing Dumbo with me, so you still want to talk to me? And if they say no, well, go your merry little way. Because if you really think that we're not going to sit here and talk about everything that you did and everything and every emotion you made me feel and everything you said to me, if you think we're not doing this, trust me. Trust me. I keep the elephant in my back pocket. I don't know about you guys, but I managed to learn how to take my emotions away from the actual, you know, the actual stuff that's been going on. Yep. I managed to take my emotions away from it, where I don't get like emotionally embedded in things, you know, like where it's like it's triggering for me. You know, I just like really started going into areas that I was afraid to go to, because I was afraid of the emotional triggers. And I got to a point where I was like, you know what? Why should I stop living? You know, because this person thinks they took my last bit of air. That's what they think. They think they took the last bit of air from me. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not gonna, you know, I've learned my lesson. I did what I had to do. You know, I'm not falling for anybody's bullshit. And it's the whole thing about being a people pleaser, because I used to be a very big people pleaser. I used to always be the one that if you needed me, I'm there. You know, I'll give you the shirt off my back. You need a place to stay. I got you, you know, even though I have a 1-bedroom apartment, but still I got an air mat. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm one of those types. And when people take advantage of that and people take that for granted, and when I see other people going through it, it really pisses me off. Yep. Yep. Slay it all day, every day, because at the end of the day, you know what? They want you to stay. They want you to stay in that deep, dark hole. They want you to stay in that depressive mode. They want you to feel like your life is nothing without them. Everything they put you through, everything they said to you. Guys, I don't know if you guys, you know, and I don't want to trigger anybody, but if you can sit there and think about everything that you have gone through and think about every hurtful word and every, you know, every action, every disgusting action and everything that they ever did, it's like, yo, I look back at it and I get so pissed off. I'm no longer like hurting. I'm no longer in pain about it, but I get pissed off. I get anger. I get rage. Like on some real shit, like if I were to come across anybody who's ever wronged me, let me not say anything because I'm live right now. So, yep. Yep, Alicia, you keep doing it too. Keep doing it. No more codependency. Keep learning how to just be happy with yourself. You know, be happy with your own company. Be happy with, you know, how things are flowing for you. You know, one of the problems that we have is being codependent, being an ex-codependent, is that we think we can't do any better. We think that we cannot, you know, we need to just stay in this dynamic because every so often when you're in a relationship and you're codependent, every so often they give you breadcrumbs. Those little breadcrumbs were what mattered to you. You weren't paying attention to the idea, well, the fact actually, you weren't paying attention to that they were manipulating you mentally, that they were emotionally stringing you along and playing games with you, that they were doing, you know, all of these, you know, possibly other things behind your back. You weren't paying attention to any of that. You were paying attention to, because when you're codependent, you are just so fixated on being emotionally fulfilled, and you're fixated on it with this particular person because that particular person has given you reward and punishment behavior. And you went from, you know, you being a codependent, you went on to enabling that type of abuse, because that was abuse. That was not fair treatment. That was not something you deserved. And because they saw that you were an enabler, and by being an enabler, meaning that you were willing to be passive aggressive, you were willing to overlook the bad shit and just focus on the good shit. And what happened was you had become, what's the word for it, guys? Oh my gosh. I had the word. Oh my gosh. It's you had just become so used to it that you became immune to it. You know, you became immune to the abuse because, you know, it's like, yeah, this person may be an asshole. This cognitive, yes, thank you. Thank you. Cognitive dissonance. That's exactly what it is. And you basically just you just blocked out the reality of it. You blocked that out and you just took in what made you feel good. So even though this person was no good for you, even though this person was just, you know, listen, toxic is toxic, even though they were no good for you and they did not treat you like a human being, they did not treat you the way you were supposed to be treated. They just treated you the way they felt you should be treated. Okay? And that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. All they did was project onto you. That was all projecting, honey. Projection. That's all it was. They projected the bad abuse, the bad behaviors and everything onto you because, well, narcissists are cowards. They're cowards. They will not face their abusers. They will not sit there and say, you abused me. We're going to deal with this shit because I want to get help for myself. They won't do that. So what's the easiest way to take off, you know, to take out their anger and their pain and their frustration? Take it out on the codependent that's sitting right next to them, that's willing to do anything and everything to be with them, which includes taking their bullshit. You know how people are. If they don't think you're going anywhere and they say, you know, you're too into me, Alicia. You're too into me to even want to go anywhere. And I can say and do anything I want to you because you're just so embedded into me. You're just so enamored with me. The fact of the matter is, mama, what you fell for was the pretty wrapping. That pretty wrapping was what distracted you because the package had nothing but snakes in it. And even though those snakes were biting you in your ass, the pretty wrapping was what you kept your eyes on. Mm-hmm. They will run and hide if their projection doesn't work. When you take your power back, they become afraid of you exposing them. Oh yes. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I am one. I give people, listen, I'll even give a narcissist the benefit of the doubt. Me, I tell them straight up, fuck with me. That's all I need you to do. If you really want to. Because people take your kindness for a weakness. And people take my kindness as a weakness. People have taken my kindness as a weakness. And they've looked at me like, oh, well, Erica, you know, Erica would never do that. Don't sleep on me. And I tell people, don't sleep on me. Do not sleep on me. Because I'm not a narcissist. I don't need to stab you in your back. Trust and believe. If I'm going to stab anybody, it's going to be in the chest with the truth. I don't need to stab anybody in their back. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's definitely, you know, that's definitely what my take of it is because, and that's why I started this channel, guys. And that's why I'm doing this for you guys, because I truthfully believe that, you know, everything we went through, I was, you know, it feels like time wasted, but you know what? When you're learning lessons, no time is ever wasted, guys. No time is ever wasted. Alicia says, yes, and as soon as I started to feel better and refused to take any more, he divorced me and married the new supply 7 months later. But I'm not crying now. I realize he left because I got stronger. Yes, 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 absolutely. People who look at your kindness as weakness when they get the dosage of reality, because just like when you got the dosage of reality that they're a narcissist, they got the dosage of reality that you're a lot stronger than you think. A lot of us are a lot stronger. It just took a while for us to realize that. That's all. It took a while for us to realize that. That's Rona, life lesson learned. No one will ever abuse me again. Absolutely. 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 And I think it's important. That's why I do these lives, guys, because I think it's important that we get a reminder, a weekly reminder. You know what I'm saying? Be a support system for one another and have a weekly reminder, because sometimes you may find yourself creeping back in, not creeping back in with a narc per se, but creeping back into those emotions and those feelings. And every so often, it happens to all of us. I could be sitting on my computer, you know, doing my work and having a cup of coffee, and then all of a sudden a feeling just comes over me. It's like a slight trigger comes over me. Yep. It's like a slight trigger comes over me, and it's like, why am I feeling this way? Because you know what? Regardless of it, there's still that residual energy. And you guys, you know, we work on getting rid of that. And that's why every week I wanted to, you know, to do this with you guys, just to give you reminders. Listen, if you're, who knows, maybe somebody was thinking about reaching out to their narcissistic ex and they're like, you know what? Let me check out this live, and boom, it gives them a reminder. I got to stay away from this person. Now I remember. Sometimes I choose to help people remember. I need you guys to remember the bad things. Just don't consume it. Remember it, but don't consume it. Remember that, how they treated you. Remember the hurtful things they said. Remember, because you know how you, and oh man, and I had this post on my Facebook that I had put up about 1.5 years ago. And it says, you know you've healed when you can tell your story and not cry about it. Okay? That's how you know you healed. You can tell your story and not cry about it. And some people, which I mentioned last week's live, you know, some people may say, well, Erica, you know, is what you're doing exploiting? No. What I'm doing is exposing. Okay? Exploiting and exposing are two different things. And at the end of the day, if I'm exposing certain information and let's say 5,000 other people resonate with what I have exposed, then it's true. It's true. You can't exploit when it's true. You expose when it's true. Oh, thank you. Just say no. Thank you so much. But guys, you know, I do this. I do this for you. I do this for me because this helps me too. It pushes me. It pushes me more. You know, so many people, so many of you inspire me. Like you guys don't know. And it's amazing how you can connect with people that you have never met before. You have never met before. And you can just really just, you know, get in tune with one another. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. That's why I tell people, if you have questions, don't hesitate to shoot me a message. Don't hesitate to leave a comment. You know, it's not just about views. It's not about likes. It's not about any of that. It's about getting the word out there and showing people that they can get through this. Okay. You know how many people have committed suicide? Suicide because they have been in relationships filled with narcissistic abuse, filled with domestic violence. You know, countless people, countless. And this has become such a pandemic. This is more of a pandemic, honestly, than the pandemic we're in right now. That there is a day of acknowledgement for it. You know, it's not people who don't understand it will say, well, you know, okay, you guys are creating this group and you're doing all of this because you just had a bunch of people who didn't want to be with you. You had a bunch of people who, you know, your butt hurt. And, you know, it's like people don't understand the severity of the damage that a narcissist does. And this is not only relationships. This is parents, family, friends, co-workers, okay? Different people. Mental abuse is psychological. It's murder. It's murder. Someone can actually kill someone by implementing mental abuse, psychological abuse. People can, you know, if someone was considering committing suicide and you wanted to manipulate someone and you really wanted to ingrain that in their head, you know, you can literally push someone in that direction just by the mind itself. Which it helps me to understand why God did not want Adam and Eve to eat the fruit of knowledge, because our mind is so powerful. And if, you know, that power is in the wrong hands, it can do a lot of damage, And, oh, guys, you know, we do it one day at a time. All right. We make these waves one day at a time. And, okay, last part. It's already an hour and a half. So another part of a hoovering tactic that they would do, they suddenly have information that they need to give to you. All right, this information that just came up out of nowhere. Oh my gosh, I need to share this with you. I'm trying to find you, trying to contact you. Where are you? You know, this is really, really important. And you know, it could be information that has nothing to do with you, but because it's, you know, it's an excuse. They use excuses, guys, to try to hoover you back in. So be very, very leery of that. Be very careful with that, because hoovering tactics can run a number of different ways. And if they really, really, truly wanted to, they will go to very big extremes just to get your attention, just to get you to fall back in. Another one is they'll randomly call you regarding a matter that has nothing to do with you. So like, say if they were like watching the news or they read a newspaper or something and a car accident happened, literally nothing to do with you. But of course, what are they going to do? They're going to use that as an excuse. Hey, I heard there was a car accident 5 blocks away from your house, and I was just checking in on you to see if you were okay. Seriously. And considering that a narcissist loves to watch you, stalk you, create fake accounts, do all kinds of stuff, you're checking to see if I'm okay. Why can't you just check my Facebook? You see I post up on there. You could have checked my Instagram. I mean, I know you have another account. I've had these problems. I've had so many fake accounts, and I'm not, assuming anything. I'm not saying that it was anybody in particular, but I've had so many fake accounts that were made, and these fake accounts that were made were from people who were claiming to be victims of abuse, narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, whatever the case may be. And these people would reach out to me and they would communicate with me. And one in particular messaged me on Facebook. She messaged me on Facebook, gave me this whole song and dance about how she follows my videos, she watches my content, and I'm like, okay. And when it boiled down to it that I was going to respond to her, it said that the page is no longer, like the link had been broken or something. So either the page was deactivated or don't understand why, but that's they will run through different extremes, different measures to try to get your attention, to try to to try to get you back in, to try to get you back in their web. Okay, and guys, if there are any men in here, be very, very careful with that, because the hoovering tactic is probably more effective if a woman is doing it than a man is. Okay, especially if you're dealing with a covert female narcissist, their tactics are probably more effective. Okay, especially if they know that you have a soft spot for them, if they know that they could just like press certain buttons or say keywords and it'll get you to fall for them again, because the first time they showed you who they were. And of course, I mean, I love you guys, I do, but sometimes you guys can be, when it comes to these women, when it comes to these females, sometimes you guys can be knuckleheads, and it's just, I can't help myself, Erica. I can't help it, and I love her and this and this and that. I've had plenty of guys that have sent me messages in regards to situations like that. And take it from a woman, okay? Take it from a woman who knows how a lot of these women operate. You need to leave them alone. You need to let them go, all right? Listen to the song Poison. You listen to that song, you'll understand why. Because females like that do not care. They do not care. They only care about conquering you. They only care about getting their way with you. They only care about controlling you, and the fact that they were able to do whatever they wanted to do and hurt you, emasculate you, destroy you, embarrass you, humiliate you in front of everybody. And then what happens? The minute she comes back and bats her eyelashes and says, I love you, I miss you, I'm sorry, I've changed, let's try again. What you want to believe it, but the fact of the matter is that it's not the case. It's not true at all. People like that do not change. Okay? The only thing they change are their victims, and in most cases, if they're hypersexual, their panties. That's it. But other than that, they do not change. They don't change for anyone. They ain't gonna do it for their kids. That's another thing that you guys got to understand. If a narcissist does not care enough to take care of their own children, if they don't care enough to be emotionally connected with their kids or be a good parent to their kids, they're not going to do it for you. Hi, Corey. They're not going to do it for you guys. And I wish, like I said, guys, I wish we could get rid of these people. I really do. I really do. The world would be a better place without them. But yeah, Corey, you just tuned in, and I'm actually, well, you can always go back if you want to, because it's going to be streamed on. But, guys, I do these because I want you guys to just kind of be refreshed with it, be reminded. I really wanted, I'm never going to get a chance to do it, but I really wanted to incorporate some of the stuff that I've learned in this book, in studying psychology. Most of you know I'm going back to school to gain my degree in psychology. And just think of it this way. I want you to look at, it's called conditioned stimulus. It's from a Russian, I think he was Russian, a Russian physiologist, Ivan Pavlov. He studied conditions, the conditioned belief system, and he managed to do his studies with dogs in learning how to and learning the human psyche. Okay, so it's amazing. They use animals in their studies, but they've managed to correlate that with the human psyche. And narcissism is a form of conditioned belief. It's a form of conditioned, it's a form of conditioned stimulus and conditioned response. And a lot of our abuse that we have gotten, being, being victims turned survivors, a lot of what you're experiencing is conditioned, meaning that it's not natural, meaning that it's not really. I think, you know what I think, when we go through triggers, it's because our body is now rejecting and releasing that conditioned behavior, that conditioned belief system. But yeah, so guys, oh my gosh, I didn't expect to be on this long. And it's like, I noticed, I guess maybe next week I'll be way more organized, but something, having you guys on here and, commenting and giving your sides, and of course adding. I love when you guys add to it, because it helps me out too, because I got so much that I'm trying to remember between my studies and everything. But I definitely want you guys to remember this. If ever you feel, you're welcome, Jay. You're welcome. Have a great night, sweetheart. If ever you feel yourselves at the point, and I tell this to my friends, my personal friends, so I'm saying it to you guys too. If you feel like part of you wants to reach out, part of you wants to, go back, or part of you is feeling triggered, or whatever the case may be, do not hesitate to send me a message. I'll be more than glad to put reality back in there for you, okay? Because I know a lot of people are going through certain phases, beginning, middle, and end. So I don't really know where everybody is on their healing, but excuse me, if ever you feel that you just need someone to talk to, you need, whatever it is you need, do not hesitate to reach out. Do not hesitate to send me a message. Don't hesitate to let me know what goes on. And on the flip side, whatever your success is, I love to hear a good success story. So definitely share that with me too. I am more than open for that. I'm more than open for that, guys. This is a community for survivors. This is a community for people who have been through it all and who want to help one another, who want to help really, help each other get through it. Help each other get through it, because I know a lot of us have gone through it by ourselves, because you may be surrounded by people who don't understand. But at the end of the day, that's all going to change. That's all going to change. And I'm still going to, because I'm focusing on my studies, so I can do this, because I'm trying to be a licensed, I'm trying to get into not psychiatry. I'm not doing meds. I'm trying to get into psychology. I'm really trying to be a psychotherapist. So I might be one of those different types, because my emotions and my feelings get in the way of things. But I'm going to learn how to separate the two. But guys, you guys have made this session so much fun. I am so appreciative for all of you being here. And I'm just so happy that a lot of you were able to come out. And, hopefully whoever sees this will, when they watch it a little later on, they'll enjoy it. They'll get something out of it, because that's what the live sessions are about. Just to give a little bit of everything, kind of like me at a family dinner. Give me a little bit of everything. Thank you, Corey. Thank you. I'm hoping. I mean, I go back in January, so hopefully I'll be able to. That's why I've been getting my studies now, so I can, when I get there, I'm a little, I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared. And, who knows? I might actually be able to open my own practice, and I might be able to, to help people in so many different ways. And I mean, we're doing it now, so now I just need people to have, to have a little bit more, what's the word for it? To be a little more secure and knowing that, okay, you got the diploma on the wall, so I can trust that you're giving me the right advice. But trust and believe, guys, any of the advice that I give you is not only based on personal experience, but it is based on logic. It's based on, if this is how the narcissist is, then maybe you should do this. So that way you can avoid any kind of destruction, so it's all based on logic. And so, guys, 9:40. Oh my gosh. I've been on here all this time. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this chat. Thank you so much for making it fun, making it just making it worth it. You guys have made this journey so worth it, man. And I'm so glad that I'm doing this, and I'm so glad that I'm meeting new people along the way. And you guys are just like, you inspire me to do so much better. You really do. You guys, I don't know where the heck I would have been a year ago when I was in the dumps. No, almost 2 years ago. I was in the dumps, down and out. And I didn't even think I would get this far with it. And it just started with, it literally started with a lamp, a desk lamp, my cell phone, and a candle to lean my phone on to do a video. And look at where it's gotten me now. So I'm so super excited for it. And I'm so happy that you guys are here to share this with me. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the love. Please be sure to like the video before you leave. And again, if you guys have any questions, anything you want to share with me, I'm going to leave my email in the description box. And also you can just leave a comment. I always respond to everybody. You know, I'm not one of these bougie people, okay? I love to interact with all my followers, and I love to interact with people who are going through it and just need a little help. So I'm always here for you guys if you need me. So guys, I'm gonna call it a night because I'm gonna grab me some dinner and then lay down and finish watching Netflix. But thank you again, guys, so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. I do hope to see you all next week. I will be back here 8 o'clock next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna talk some more. We're going to get some more stuff out and help as many people as we possibly can. All right. And be on the lookout because I'm doing another sip. I was about to say shit. Oh my God. I'm doing another sip chat video with my friend Amanda. If you're not familiar with it, please check out our sip chat videos. We're going to do another one this week. And hopefully, well, we'll have to see what she has up her sleeves because you know how she is already. She likes to entertain everyone. Thank you, God's child. Thank you so much for being here. So guys, have a great night. Blessings to you all. Much love, peace, happiness, all that good stuff. And of course, remember, if you're in no contact, stay no contact. Stay away from them. Continue, stay the course. Stay on your path. And trust me, everything else is just going to flow to you. All right? Guys, thank you so much for being here. Alicia, yes, have your wine ready. I don't know if I'm going to have wine. She liked the Baileys, so I mean we might have like maybe a mini bar. I don't know. We'll see when the day comes. But if I do have wine, I might do pink Moscato. So I'm kind of on the fence between the two. But we'll see what happens. But thank you again, guys, so much for being here. I really appreciate the love and I appreciate the support. And you are all just amazing people. So thank you. So guys, I will be seeing you next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have something that you would want me to discuss, or if you have something that you want me to bring up, please let me know. I'll be more than glad to add it in. No issues. I love taking requests. I love doing whatever accommodates you guys. So just please let me know if you do. All right. Leave me a comment if you want to, or like I said, you can email me. All right, guys. So thank you again. I'm getting ready to get out of here. Have a great night, guys. Love you. Mwah. Bye.